AI industry from the financial standpoint is a mess right now, both on the AI service providers side, figuring out how much they should charge for their solutions, and from the business perspective that are trying to understand how much they can afford to pay or they're willing to pay for the services. In this video, I will provide you the exact blueprint that you can follow to evaluate either your specific services or the services that you're planning to buy from other providers. I'm going to give you the 4 examples of the AI agents and automations we built for the clients, how much we charged, and why I charged these amounts. And I'll also explain the general guidelines that you can follow figuring out your next steps. The first solution we're going to talk about is the AI outbound SDR. We built it for a manufacturer and wholesaler. This is basically the cold email infrastructure, which is built on top of the Instantly, where we're buying multiple domains and email accounts. We're warming them up inside the software. We're getting the leads from Apollo because this is a manufacturer. It's very easy to find other wholesalers and distributors there. And we're using Clay to personalize each and every lead. We're not even enriching the details of these prospects because all of them are coming from the Apollo. We charged the setup fee plus the monthly performance. Of course, this is the specific proposal that you can read. I blurred some information out. You can pause and understand how it is structured, but the idea is that we had the deliverables that we can affect. We were not charging the client based on the leads or the positive replies that they are going to get based on this infrastructure. Instead, we were saying that they can expect the certain amount of the open rate, certain reply rate, and a fixed amount of emails sent per month. Of course, this is not the value-based pricing. The reason for that, because we were confident that we can deliver the results to the client, and the client was the actual referral. So we had more flexibility in terms of charging them based on the things that we can control directly. And we set it up as the $4,500 upon the establishing the infrastructure and $4,500 for the first month. Then we were charging them $3,000 every month after the first month to send X amount of emails here. So let me explain you where the prices come from. Let's start with the monthly. We sent 10,000 emails. We always right now plan for the 1% reply rate, which is actually a guaranteed reply rate. We do say that it can be from 1 to 5%, but the 1% is the guaranteed one. And if they have not received 100 replies, at least, that are not out of office or unsubscribe replies, the actual human tangible replies, we will continue to send emails to get to this number. So we were planning for the 1% general reply rate and 15% positive reply rate from the general reply rate. So we would close at least one deal, that was the plan, which is worth $30,000 to $100,000 to this client because they are a manufacturer that works with larger quantities. Each deal worth $30,000 to $100,000 for them with 40% EBITDA. These are the higher tier contracts because this is the manufacturer that works with larger quantities. That was the plan. The actual numbers are higher. The reply rate is 2.2% on the campaigns. I was showing them on one of the previous videos, and we have the 12% positive reply rate, if I'm not mistaken. So that was the plan. Because we guarantee the general reply rate, but not the positive reply rate, we needed to do the calculations to make sure it is going to be a fit. Internally, within our agency, we were pretty confident that we can get this business at least one deal per month, sending 10,000 cold emails. That is where we were very comfortable to charge $3,000 a month. In terms of the setup, first, it did include the first month, and we were confident that we're gonna show them the results. Maybe the deal will not be closed, and by the way, it wasn't closed because the sales cycles there are crazy, but we were confident that we'll deliver the results and they'll continue to pay us on the monthly basis. Plus, there were the work upfront from the lead gathering, research, and infrastructure build. That is why we created this specific pricing structure. Let's talk about the second solution, which is the AI setter for the Instagram coach. It was purely built on top of our lead activation system on the one prompt, but instead of the high level, we were using the ManyChat. Link in the description, by the way. You can license and resell it to your own clients. So the client has few million followers on the Instagram, and 30% of the content that he posts is the engagement type content, where he asks for you to comment a specific word. When you comment, it's sending you the lead magnet automatically, and then AI try to engage with the person. As you can see, it's a simple trigger, then sending the lead magnets. Now, this coach already had the ManyChat system in place. It was awesome. He has 273,000 contacts inside ManyChat. So he was using it for quite some time. What we did, we powered it on the backend by our one prompt engine using the n8n, and had multiple automations for the group messaging, for the engagement and qualification to mimic human behavior in the inbox. It was the setup plus coaching without actually managing the solution. And the reason for that was because he had a team who was developing him the ManyChat automations, and he had a team of the setters and closers within the inbox who are communicating with people. So he wanted to get the solution in a box and get me to teach him how to use and scale using this solution. So what we did is basically the upfront payment of $7,200, then the $1,800 after the work is done. Again, so we developed this system based on the one prompt, we integrated into his own infrastructure, and then trained how to use it. So here is why it was $9,000 and not $4,100 or $20,000. He has 6 human setters that are getting paid $700 each, fixed, plus 2 closers, right now probably more, that are getting the percentage. So he's paying $3,200 fixed monthly, plus the percentage to the people who are navigating in the inbox. And you can think that we were charging based on the value and the money that we save. So technically, we could easily leave 2 setters plus the AI solution, and we could save $2,500 or something per month on the setters. But the very interesting thing here with this specific client is that he was not even talking about this. And when we started the discovery call, when he was presenting the problem, I understood that the saving aspect is not a problem. The buddy is making $200,000 a month cash. It's not cash collected, profit. He doesn't really care about $3,000 per month. What he did care is to grow using this AI system to help him close more deals and book more appointments by educating people inside the inbox, because this is very important because he sells a very high ticket product. And this is what we did. And I valued it to the $9,000. So if the AI setter would increase the booking rate by only 5%, their sales were, of course, much, much better, but only 5%. This is what we've been planning for. It's gonna increase the revenue by $10,000 every month. Not only that, he's learning the tool that he can apply to other businesses that he owns. That is why it was a no-brainer. And this is why we charged the one-time payment for the build-out and coaching. The third solution was the custom workflow automation for a B2B software that is managing the labels and SDSs for other businesses. That was the Airtable interface that is powered by the make.com automations. Yes, we were using the make, and we decided to not actually transfer it to the n8n because the client is actually using make for other automations within the business, and we thought that it's a good idea to make everything under his account and not introduce any other softwares. So the idea is that they have thousands of manufacturer websites that they go to every week, see the updates in the labels or SDSs, and then update their own database. That was very manual. So our goal was to automate this process where the AI agent can visit all the manufacturer websites, find the direct links to the documents for the labels, download it, and then upload into the Airtable where they can manage it. So here's how the contract was structured. It was a setup fee plus hosting. Because the value is only on the time-saving side and not on the money side, we were providing the deliverables in terms of the workflows and the specific things that are needed to be done to make this system work. And we charge $2,500 as a one-time payment, plus here we're saying and estimating $200 to $300 per month. So here's why. They do the updates every week. It's one person goes through all the manufacturer websites, then uploads the information to their CSV. Now they're using Airtable, but they used to have the Excel spreadsheet that is connected to their logging page on the backend. So this one person spends 2 full days doing it. He makes $30 per hour. Again, we got this information from the discovery call, and this is how we were estimating the value of this automation for the client. If this person spends 8 hours a day, 2 days a week, and makes $30 per hour, then you're paying $480 to this person every week to get this task completed. Times 4 weeks, so $2,000 that you pay to one person to complete this task. So we thought, how about we charge him a 1 month of saved value upfront and then the hosting fee. Now, of course, we could charge more. But the problem here is that because that was, a cold client that we acquired, it is hard to sell the services that are not making the business more money for a higher ticket, and especially higher on the monthly side because they're already paying the money to fix the problem. So we cannot charge him $1,000 per month. And this is going back into the general value of the AI automations and agents, because you can either help businesses to save time or make them more money. And this is a great illustration of the different use cases that you can, of course, integrate into the companies that will help them to save time and make them more efficient. But the value is usually not there for you to charge multiple four figures for your services. The fourth example is the database reactivation, where we've been working with the insurance. We had a custom built interface on top of the one prompt where you could launch the database reactivation campaigns. It is connected to all of our text and voice agents. It's making the outreach. It's classifying all the people and selling them the insurance services, obviously to the ones that responded, and connected to the high level as well as the CRM that the business was using. It was a HubSpot. Again, this is based on our existing one-prompt solution that you can also get or build yourself. We had the dashboard on the high-level side as well as the pipeline, and the custom interface that we built is acting as a launch tool, have the schedule as well as have everything updated on the backend. Here's how we charged. It was the setup plus pay per lead. We charged $3,500 as a setup plus $100 to $150 per engaged lead. Now, that was the proposal, and because we haven't yet started the complete activation campaign, we were estimating the numbers, and usually we're sending after 1 month the proposal add-on with all the campaign details, the results, as well as the final prices that we would charge, and it was $145, I think. Here's exactly why I charge that much. One time is based on the running 200 reactivations for the demo purposes. Before signing the client, we got 200 leads from his database and tried to reactivate. He didn't pay us a dime. Of course, when you're developing the solutions and you're not asking for a money commitment, they need to commit with the time. That is why the client was helping us to create the perfect offer as well as the pipeline that the agent needs to follow. So we were asking it to commit from the time standpoint and not the money to make him invested. So we did run the reactivation campaign for 200 leads. We showed the result. That is why when we were charging the one time, we could hire it up because he already saw the result, and he actually closed 2 deals from this 200 reactivation campaigns. So it was worth the value. Plus, of course, we had the setup that we needed to complete as well as the teamwork. That is where the $3,500 comes from. In terms of the performance, it is purely based on the value that the client assigned to each and every engaged lead. That was not us. So we were asking him to provide us the range. That is why after a month of campaign running, we said that it is 145, if I'm not mistaken, dollars per lead, because we saw the value. We got direct access to his HubSpot, and we saw the value of each and every lead that we are bringing through the reactivation. So what can you learn from these prices? Everything is pretty simple. If you are helping the business to make money, you can expect to charge a one-time fee plus the performance. And if you are a company looking for a trusted provider who can do the AI integration to help you to make more out of what you already have, you need to plan for the setup fee that will go into the actual development as well as the teamwork, even if the team has the system built. Because in the AI setter example, as well as the database reactivation, these solutions were purely based on the one prompt system. We have it built in and we don't spend too much time on the fulfillment. That is why we license it to others so that they can focus on selling and not building the automations and delivering the results to the clients. But if you're the business buying the service from us and we are setting it up, but if you are the business buying the done for you service from us, even though we have it built, you're not paying for the time. You're paying for the experience that we gathered for the past 2 years. So one time plus the performance or the month. One-time payment depends on your sales skills. If you're trying to sell it, reputation, case studies, and confidence. We usually charge, as you can see, somewhere between $3,000 to $10,000. But if you're starting or you're not yet comfortable with the solution and with the value that you drive to the client's businesses, you should expect to charge somewhere between $3,000 to $5,000 plus the $1,000 to $3,000 per month, either fixed but based on the guarantees that you can provide with the deliverables, like we did with the AI SDR right here, or based on the performance, pay per lead, pay per spend, pay per purchase, like we did right here with the database reactivation. Yes, these are the higher amounts, higher retainers, and higher setups, but of course, it is harder to deliver these results because everyone can learn n8n technically and build the automations. But less and less people understand how and why they would want to use AI from the business standpoint to make more money and not just, save the time. If you are purely focusing on automating the backend processes for the businesses, working on the workflows and making the business more efficient, usually you can plan for the setup plus maybe the hosting dependent on the client. This is a freelance type of the developer route. I was focusing on that myself when I was starting, when the Quimple was born more than 2 years ago, when I was starting the cold outreach, trying to land the clients, doing everything custom. And then we decided that, and I decided because I was alone at that time, that I would want to help businesses to make more money. And this is how Quimple was born more than 2 years ago, where I was focusing on custom AI development for the companies. I was sending the cold emails, trying to land the client, trying to do everything custom. Then I realized that it is not scalable and you cannot charge these type of the retainers and setups if you're not making the business more money. And this is how the one prompt eventually was born. And the third model, if you don't want to focus on helping the business to make money with a system, infrastructure, or tool that you have, if you don't want to focus on the custom AI development, you can become a consultant. Now, of course, I know that a lot of you are looking for this type of the route, but you need to understand that it is usually for the people who have reputation within the industry. You can plan for fixed one-time payments where you help the business or person to learn X skill or to help them with the X process without doing the development, and maybe partnering with the automation agency for the processes or for the money-making agency that integrates AI solutions, but you're not doing it yourself. So you're charging the $2,000 to $10,000 one-time setup fees, and the fulfillment is outsourced. Of course, this is a very good model. It's not super scalable because it does rely on your time. Plus, you need to have a reputation within the industry to be able to not only provide the value, but articulate the value to the businesses, and they need to trust that you're going to be able to fulfill what you said. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. See you in the next one. Peace.